Hello, today is August 27, 2021, and the time is 4:18 p.m. I wanted to do a quick video, somewhat inspired by a conversation that I recently had online with someone. And they said, kind of not, suggesting, I guess, maybe loosely, to have some funny content. And I have over the years, shared some funny moments and some uplifting things. But I'm not the type of person that is always smiling and have that happy look on my face all the time and everything else. I've never been like that, even at the best of my times. I guess you can call it my relaxed face. People say I look pissed off. I'm not. That's just the way I am. I've always been like that. Except, I guess when I was a kid, I was always, as a baby and a toddler and stuff, I was always smiling, giggling and stuff. And then when I got a little bit older, I was kind of the clown of the class. And I do joke around and everything else. But I highlighted to this person that I wanted to show in my videos, and the topics I talk about are very serious. Whistleblowing, exposing, sex trafficking, and police, judicial, and political corruption and stuff like that. So, it's stuff that you really don't take lightly, and to get the point across, the seriousness of things is, you'd kind of lose it with turning into a joke, and it's not really a joke. It's something that impacts all of us. And I also want to highlight how the impact, say for example, of injustice, how it really impacts people. And I've mentioned this in other videos over the years, where we hear a lot of stories, for example, about people who have been wrongfully convicted, and they've been in prison for 40 years, and then they get exonerated. And we see, say, the news or something, they're happy and they're smiling and they're just happy to be out, but we never see the other side, the flip side of all this, when they're alone, for example, sitting on the edge of their bed at night, and what they're going through and how they really feel. People like to hear feel good and happy, uplifting and everything else, because chances are they're going through their own stuff in life. But the reality is, injustice, for example, there's a harsh reality to that. It's something not to be made light of. So I really just kind of wanted to address that with regards to my video and my content. I'm sure if I was doing silly, nonsensical videos, get a lot of people coming aboard, and there's just, if I was really energetic and just all hype and everything else, but that's all fake. Because a lot of these people who actually do these kind of videos, when you actually look into them, like see them, inside they're not that person that they're presenting. They're the complete opposite. And I've said again in many videos over the years that, although my videos are serious and I share moments where I'm kind of down because of just everything, my core, though, is always positive and happy. And that's what keeps me going, I guess, throughout my whole life, even over the years. And now I still have that happy positive in me, in my core, but you don't see that. So am I bitter and frustrated with my life right now? Absolutely I am. I'm bitter how I ended up in this situation, beyond things beyond my control put me here, which all started with my trying to do the right thing. And I'm frustrated with trying to rebuild my life with all these obstacles that I've shared, trying to move forward and try to salvage what I got and be self-sufficient. All my life I've been self-sufficient. And I shared a story with the same person I mentioned earlier. The first business that I created, I remember, I was maybe around 5 years old, and my mother would ship me to different places to live and stuff. And where I was where I was staying at one point, there's a couple other kids down the street, and behind the subdivision, it was a small place, there was a industrial section, I guess. I didn't know that as a kid. You just, like factories and stuff. There was a fence that was kind of broken down, so we kind of went through the fence, chain link fence. I found these little pots, little flower pots, the size of your hand, and had this great idea. So we went and got the little red wagon, literally a little red wagon, and went to the dumpster, pulling out these pots. They were in the back of this factory. And my idea was to go around the neighborhood and sell them. I think we were selling them for 25 cents or something. Did pretty good. And until one day, I remember a bunch of teenagers bought the whole wagon. I think they said, "I'll give you $20 for it." And, as a kid, it's like, wow. And we started going down the street. I carried the money, and the other two kids pulled the wagon and stuff. And I'm the one that knocked on the door and did the deals. And these teenagers started throwing the pots at us, and they were smashing behind us as we were running, and kind of scared us a little bit. And then I had this idea: these two kids, we get more pots and they paint them, and then we can sell them for more money. And we go to the small little grocery store and buy a big bag of Doritos and bottles of pop, and just sit there and on the sidewalk on the street and live like kings. So I guess you can say that was my first business, sort of. And I remember the one time we went to the back of this, to the dumpster to grab pots, some guy came out, started yelling at us. I don't know if he thought we were doing vandalism, or I don't know, he just yelling at us. And I explained to him what I was doing. I said, "These are in the dumpster, you're throwing them out, and I want to sell them." And I remember him helping, loading up the wagon. And well, somebody fixed that fence eventually and kind of ended that, but it was fun. I remember that. It was a good memory as a kid. I don't even know what my point was with that. I kind of lost just going down memory lane there. Oh, talking about being self-sufficient. So I've always, throughout my life, I've worked very hard to accomplish many different things throughout my life. I've mentioned law. I mentioned supply teaching public schools. I mentioned working in the mental health industry. I did personal and private security before that. I fought freestyle, martial arts instructor, fitness instructor. I was bodybuilding. I did a lot of different things throughout my life. I worked for corrections. I did I have my own businesses. And I've always, a lot of things I've done I did simultaneously. So there's a lot of things I was doing simultaneously throughout my life. I've accomplished a lot. I've worked hard, and I've always helped people. And I'm not looking for a pat on the back or anything, but I'm just saying I always help people as best as I can throughout my life. Volunteering with food drives. There's one particular organization that I, almost 10 years doing food drives, and then Christmas, doing the Christmas hampers, and delivering food and everything else. And I always try to give back. And I'm not trying to paint myself out to be a saint. By no means am I a saint. But, I'm just trying to highlight, throughout my life, I've tried to help people. And I think for me, what's also frustrating is being on the receiving end of being helped. And it's not a pride issue as much as I'd rather be helping people. And I've shared also, even over the years, and now, somebody less fortunate than I am. I give what little I can to them, sometimes sacrificing my own needs for other people. And again, this is not a pat on the back. I'm just saying it's just how I am. I remember as a kid, little kid, giving away my toys to other kids who liked my toys. Kind of stupid, but well, maybe not. I don't know. Depends how you want to look at it. But another part of my frustration in life, and maybe that leads into some bitterness as well, is how common people treat me and try to downplay all the efforts and everything that I've accomplished in my efforts with whistleblowing and exposing. And people are very brave when they're sitting behind a keyboard elsewhere. They say whatever they want. I've talked about genetic hierarchy and how we've in society tried to circumvent that. And that's something that you feel in the presence of somebody. You just know. And one of the things we see with the internet, for example, is you don't have that. And then you have the myth that we're all equal and everything else, and we're all entitled to some nonsense. We all live in a different reality. We all live in the same reality. And my experiences and my knowledge base and my understanding and my insight is part of your reality. We all share the same reality. We don't live in this nonsensical. We all live different realities. And whether people want to learn something from what I've been sharing or even accept it, I really don't care. I know what I know. I share what I share. So, yeah, there's a little bit of bitterness and frustration on my part. Some days it affects me more, some days less. The post-traumatic stress from the May 4th, 2013 event comes and goes in waves, but just deal with it as it comes. And with the way the world's going insane now with current worldwide events, you just can only shake your head. And you hear a lot of people talking, for example, about toxic people. There's a lot of talk about toxic people, and people get on this bandwagon. They hear the phrase toxic person, or can't remember. There's a couple of phrases that people even throwing at me for some crazy reason to do with being egocentric and everything else. And it's like, really? A lot of people confuse confidence with arrogance, and that's a reflection of them, not of, say, someone like myself. Now, yeah, toxic people you can identify, whether it be through a third party or even from a first person perspective. And I've also talked about the busybodies, the do-gooders, the tattletales in videos. But one thing I've never really talked about are people who are liabilities in your life. They may not be toxic. They may not even be a busybody or a tattletale, but they're a liability to you. And usually, this is all masked in, I guess you could kind of classify them somewhat as a busybody, because they may do things for that they think they're helping, for example, and they cause more harm than good, which is really what a busybody does. And people that are liabilities in your life, they smile, they're nice, they're pleasant to be around, whatever. Maybe not always, but for the most part. So you don't really see these people who are liabilities to you. And they're so sweet, and even after they screw everything up, you know, and they're doing their own mental gymnastics in their head to try to justify everything. These people you want to eliminate from your life as well. People who are liabilities. Something people don't really talk about. Because you can have somebody who's really nice, who's not toxic, but their judgment, their knowledge base, critical thinking skills, whatever, the list goes on, really lack. And they do more harm than good. And you have to get rid of them. So this video, I just kind of bounced around on different topics, shared a little bit about my childhood. And really just, I guess the base line of this video is being frustrated and bitter right now. I don't allow things to consume me, but it is what it is. And yeah, and as for making comical videos and stuff, that's really not that's not really who I am. I'm not going to be someone that I'm not, just say to get views or whatever. And a lot of the topics that I do talk about are very serious subject matters, not to be taken lightly. And what I've done, say for example with whistleblowing and exposing, and my situation now, I try to show the seriousness of everything. Because if I lighten it up, then, oh, it's no big deal. It is a big deal. When, for example, I've gone over a week without eating. But despite everything, and still having that positive happiness as my core, every day I do find something, or something presents itself that I can take pleasure in, that I can appreciate, find a little bit of happiness, even for that moment. Unfortunately, the world is wicked. And as soon as the world realizes, hey, they try to take away that moment of happiness. So I remember that day on May 4th, 2013, that whole event with the two former officers happened late in the evening. But that was a good day for me. I remember I was really happy. I was doing some work for the landlord where I was staying, and we went to Home Depot and loaded up my vehicle, and somebody was trying to fit in a sheet of plywood or something into the back of a hatchback, and you couldn't fit it in. So I asked them where they lived, and it's like they weren't too far actually from where I was. So took it, loaded up in my vehicle. I was able to accommodate it, took it to their place, and they were so happy because they were, for some reason they thought a 4x8 sheet would fit into a hatchback. So it was a good day. I was really happy, and a lot of happy moments throughout that whole day. But then the wickedness of the world said, hey, this guy's a little bit too happy. And that became my nightmare. I'm not saying don't wait for something bad to happen. No. I'm just saying, it does happen. So anyway, take what you want from this video. I've kind of just bounced around different stories, rambling on, videos going on a lot longer than what I thought. Again, I want to thank everyone for their support and their help, and I really do appreciate it. So anyway, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share.